Mathew Young, thank you very much for taking the time to sit with me. I'm Aiden Brook with seedworld Group, and this is Mathew Young with the Tennessee Crop Improvement Association, manager of the Tennessee Crop Improvement Association. Thank you very much for taking the time with me, Mathew. Mathew, we'd love to start off by hearing a little bit more about yourself.
So a little bit about myself. I started working for Tennessee Crop Improvement directly out of college. Started out as a field inspector, then worked my way up to the manager of Tennessee Crop Improvement, where I'm in charge of the daily operations of running the office and our field inspections. We certify small grains, and soybeans are our major crops. We also have some certified turf grass. We do a little bit of corn. So fairly diverse in the state of Tennessee, but still fairly small organization compared to others.
Thank you very much. And how did you get more involved with crop improvement and seed certification?
So it's kind of a funny story how I got involved with seed certification. Is actually a friend of mine was a part-time inspector during college, and once we graduated college, they told me about a potential job opening at Tennessee Crop, and I started out there, and it was a side of the industry that I never thought about existing, because I grew up, we had cattle, had some horses, raised tobacco, but I never really thought about the seed the tobacco came from. So it was a side of the industry that I really didn't think much about until I got involved and started my job, and then through the years got involved with AOSCA and went from there.
Awesome. Fantastic. Tobacco, eh?
Yeah, it was a hobby farm is what we called it. We had a garden of tobacco, but it was just a couple acres, but it was our side job. Both my parents had full-time jobs, but they called it Christmas money.
Christmas money, I like it. Fantastic.
Tobacco.
Okay, tobacco. You've done a lot, moving from field inspector to manager. What would you say is the number one thing you've learned on the job?
I guess the number one thing would be the relationships of people and how to handle people and be a leader and a follower. Sometimes, as the manager, you have to show your employees that you're willing to do everything that you're asking them to do, and sometimes get down in the trenches with them instead of just standing on top and pointing out things to do. So that's probably been the biggest thing to learn is working with people and working as a team instead of just being a commander and pointing fingers, but getting in the ditches. That's separating, just handling business. I mean, we all have friendships in the industry, but sometimes we have to take care of business, and you may be on the opposite side of the situation than one of your best friends, but at the end of the day, you're still friends and sit down and have a meal together and be friends, but understanding there's business and there's friendship, and that's another big thing that I learned real early in my career. I actually went out to meet with a gentleman. He was very upset about a situation, sat in his office and felt like we got an earful for about 45 minutes. As soon as it got done, he stood up, shook our hands, like, "All right, guys, let's go have lunch." Like nothing ever happened. So it was. At first, I was kind of like, "Wow, we're getting an earful here," but it really put a lot of things in perspective. How he could have business and have your friendship, and sometimes you just got to take care of business, and it's not personal. But it was a lesson well learned at a very early point in my career that really kind of shaped me into some things that we got to make tough situations sometimes and tough decisions, but it's just part of it sometimes.
Part of it. Yeah, I think that mutual respect is definitely something that.
It's an easy way to sum it, mutual respect.
Yeah, and mutual respect, that there's that space for the separation. Correct. Which I think is a huge part of having a good working relationship. I mean, I'm sure or have had relationships where that is not the case. You can't be friends with someone that gives you an earful, but in these high performing organizations that you're working with, they're able to figure out that mutual respect. Awesome.
Handling constructive criticism.
Yes, there you go. They're handling constructive criticism. I just have a couple more for you. What typically is the biggest misconception you hear about seed certification?
It's usually, I don't know about a misconception, or just the people just don't know about seed certification, about what we do. And like I said, I grew up raising tobacco. We would plant hay fields. I mean, we would buy seed from our local co-op. And I didn't even know about seed certification. I didn't know anything about that. To me, you go to the co-op and you got the bag, and I knew about germination. I knew you could read a label, but just the importance of it is probably the biggest misconception that a lot of people go to their local supply store and buy their grass seed or their hay seed, whatever they're buying. But I guess the misconception of that everything is the same in a bag, and where certified is held to such a higher standard compared to what else may be on the market. And that's where we have to separate ourselves and prove what the blue tag certification really is and what it means. That I think just in general, people just look at it and say, well, it's not any different, when actually there is a huge value difference in the quality that you get out of a certified product.
Well said. I think that is a good point of that it's not even necessarily a misconception, but a lack of knowledge that's out there.
And even reading a seed tag, just for example, some of the local ag supply stores at home, now that I have my job and my background, I go in there and I'm looking at the seed tags just because that's how my mind works. And I walk by, I was like, wow, this 50-pound bag has 3/4 of a pound of weed seed in it. Why would you want to plant that in your field? And then the farmer walks by and grabs the seed and throws it in, and I'm like, you're just putting more weed seed out there, So and those, are non-certified varieties, and you'll see a certified tag that has, 0% or 0.1% weed seed, and the value there that I think is missed a lot of times because, like I said, just not paying attention of the tags or not understanding potentially.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point actually, and I think you're right that without knowing it, you wouldn't recognize it. Right? Without even having the conversation, you're not walking in there looking at the weed content in the seed bag. You're going to get seed and you're going to pick it up and you're going to use it.
That's exactly right.
But the certified side is different. Okay, fantastic. And last question for you: what advice do you have for grower customers or seed companies that have questions about seed certification?
I guess the first advice would be reach out to your local seed certifying agency. With the AOSCA website, it's easy to find. Sarah's done a great job by updating our website and having them out there that you can select your state or your area or in parts of Canada. I would start there at the local level, and if you have any questions, of course, the AOSCA website, there's contact information there that you can ask our national association and point you in the right direction to direct you to a state agency or that's local to you.
AOSCA with their new website. I love it.
Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Matthew.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it.